Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another broadcast of the Lawrence Report. On tonight's broadcast, we'll be discussing episode 9, Missing While Scamming. Now, I gotta give it up to the cast and crew. They just got renewed for season 2 of Found. So, shout out to NK, Jermaine Davis, all the writers, all the producers, all of the directors, the entire cast. We got picked up for season 2. I'm excited about that. So yeah, here's an article right here from Deadline. You can see that right there, talking about how they got renewed. So now let's get into this episode. Now, in the opening scene, we see a dream, like a dream sequence, right? Gabby is basically being arrested by Trent. Lacey screaming, and Sir wraps his arms around Gabby's neck, and basically they're saying, well, Gabby, we all found out what you've been doing when it comes to Sir. You're going to pay the price. But again, it's only a dream. So Gabby wakes up, and Gabby is sick, like congested, sweating, like a bad sickness, right? And also it's crazy because Sir is actually sick with her. And mentally, this thing right here with Sir and this kidnapping situation is really weighing her down. She's even looking up, penalty, kidnapping, you know, details as far as what will happen if you are kidnapping somebody in Washington D.C. Like what type of penalties and things of that nature would you face right here? And so bad she ends up telling Trent that I think I have a confession that I want to talk to you about. So again, this is heavy on Gabby right here, and I don't know how much longer can she mentally deal with the whole Sir thing, with him being in the basement. And this episode here, I also feel like we actually got our first true background story of Sir. Like we never really truly know his history and how did he become the man that he has become. And we also find out that I did not know this, or that his real name is actually Hugh. So yeah, we found out about his history, his upbringing, of what makes Sir the man. We found out the man that he has become. So Gabby, she checks on Sir to see if he's okay, see if he's still feeling sick. He is, but shortly after that, she goes to the precinct and watches at the precinct. There is, a big poster that the team is celebrating. Well, actually, it's a magazine cover that Gabby has been named on this Washington Today, and so this is a big celebration for her and her team, and she tries to downplay it, but deep down inside, I know she's happy about this right here, right? And as the celebration concludes, they end up getting their next case. Now, I'm trying not to laugh at what I'm about to say, but here comes this big beastly. This brother's very built. I thought it was Jason Derulo. I thought this was a built version of Jason Derulo. That's what I thought it was. Y'all remember they used to be his intro back in the day. It's like that Jason Derulo on Found, but it's not Jason Derulo. That's another actor. But anyway, so this guy comes in. It's him and some of his wife's co-workers, right? Basically her PR people, I think. And he comes into the precinct. He's saying, Gabby, I need you to help me find my missing loved one. We believe that she has been kidnapped for ransom. So we see that the woman who was actually kidnapped, her name was Melissa, and she's basically a influencer, right? And the people who kidnapped her, they basically want, like, I believe it was around $2 million, in cash. So, the team assembles and they're trying to work the case and, get all the details that they typically usually do. At the same time, we see Margaret. I was happy about this for Margaret. Margaret is actually talking to a therapist, considering that, she's been at this bus station for 13 years straight, like not missing a day. And the therapist tells her that it may be time to let go of the bus station situation. But of course, Margaret is not trying to hear that. And, she's kind of upset, and rightfully so, right? But she storms out. She's like, hey, I need to get back to work. But again, I'm happy for Margaret because something like this is very traumatic, and having another outlet to talk to about this right here can be beneficial, and it's a part of the healing process. And I'm still hoping that towards the end of the season, we are going to see hopefully Margaret reunited with Jamie. So the team, they basically goes back to Melissa and her husband's home, and they're investigating the situation at the home, and they see all these price tags and these receipts. Again, this woman is an influencer, so they believe that maybe she was living a double life. I mean, we've seen this time and time again where people, they'll claim to live this high class lifestyle, but they'll buy the clothes one night, Gucci, Louis, Prada, whatever the case may be, and they'll take it right back to the store next day because they're putting on a front, right? And Margaret, she notices that, but she also noticed that you know Melissa's husband and this other I can't think of the lady's name, but this Asian lady, yeah, they're kind of close. So Gabby, using her her instincts and intellect, she notices that there's two bedrooms in the house. And she's curious to figure out why are there like these two separate beds like this in the house. And it turns out that Melissa's husband and the Asian lady, they are all a part of a throuple. Yeah, a throuple. I'm like, y'all might as well just become swingers. That's what it sounds like to me. Like y'all basically swinging. Let's call a spade a spade. So, Gabby and the team, they're trying to work down the ransom as well. And they do end up meeting the guy halfway. And, she's like, why do you see proof of life to make sure that Melissa's alive and well? Of course, he shows proof of life, but, he does it in such a, harmful way that while I was watching this live on TV, I jumped myself because, dang, that joint really scared me as well. And we also see Officer Trent. He is caught. I hate to say these words, but he's basically caught in crossfire, trying to be like an actual real cop or be like a vigilante, almost like how Gabby and them do their thing, right? So his boss calls him in. He's like, "Well, I know about the drive situation, but what I'm saying is, if you end up working with me, I can restore your badge." But at the same time, Trent is like, "Well, are you saying you want me to betray Gabby?" But his boss is like, "Well, you're supposed to be a cop. Like you were born to be a cop. This is part of your family tradition. You are a cop. You're not a vigilante. You're not like them." So Trent is now walking a thin line of, do I betray the woman that I kind of like, the woman that I'm catching feelings for, or do I try to go back and get my badge? Like, which way can? So while they're trying to get the money together for the ransom, it turns out that Melissa's husband, they're kind of short on the cash, and here comes a big baller, Zeke. Zeke is like, you know what? If y'all missing a few meals, I got y'all. This reminds me of that that meme. Oh, he got money. I didn't know Zeke was balling like that. I mean, I might could get about $800 from Zeke to help me cover this rent for this month. Zeke, you got your boy handled? Let me know. Anyway, yeah. So Zeke is like, yo, I can help out. It's nothing to me. So they end up covering the money. So Gabby, Don, Trent, and Lacey, they end up meeting this kidnapper, and it looks like a parking lot basically. And Gabby's like, hey, here's the money, let her go, right? And the guy, the kidnapper, he points a gun to Gabby's head. Of course, I almost said Bella, but Lacey is frantically screaming, and rightfully so. And then Officer Trent makes, I don't know if this is a good decision or a bad decision. I don't know. It remains to be seen because I feel like it could have went either way. But he ends up calling the cops, right? The Washington D.C. cops, and they come, and then it's like a shootout basically. And Gabby is okay, but Gabby tells Trent that, well, hey, you just got Melissa killed, basically saying, I didn't want you to call the cops. You shouldn't have did that right there. So while this the shootout happens, between Marco and the other assistant, you know, Gabby is trying to rescue Melissa, but Melissa has this bag over her head. And of course, you know, she ends up dying. She basically ends up suffocating due to that bag being over her head. She has no pulse, no conscience, or anything of that nature. Right. So back at a precinct, you know, um, Melissa's man basically has to tell his daughter that, you know, that her mother is not coming home and that she has passed. And Gabby, we did not know this right here. I was surprised to see this right here. I did not expect this at all. But Gabby has a wall, I think it was back at her home, where she has like a space where for people who she was not able to, you know, rescue and they may have passed and things of that nature right there. But she lights a candle for those people that she could not rescue. And I was like, it just took me back for a minute. I was like, wow, because, you know, typically, you know, they always, you know, have the wall of them saying, oh yeah, well, now you're welcome, you know, you're found or whatever. But I didn't know she had that, so that took me back for a minute right there. And also, you know, considering, you know, Lacey's been trying to take this, you know, leave of absence, you know, her and Gabby again have another conversation. And, you know, she's like, I want to know, Lacey tells Gabby, like, I want to know what's going on with you. Like, what is in that basement? And Gabby says, I'm in that basement, basically. She's saying that, you know, which we all know Sir's in that basement, but it's a piece of her that's with Sir that kind of makes her in that basement as well. And, you know, they're both intertwined in the worst way. Because for Gabby, you know, she's still trying to deal with this whole search situation. I think that as time is going on, this Sir thing is completely weighing her down. And I don't know how much longer can she possibly hold on to this right here. But at the end of this episode, we do see that Lacey does get a phone call. Well, I'm going to say Lacey ends up calling Gabby saying that Tony is basically, you know, out of the coma that he was facing. So that, I guess, is like a happy ending, basically. We're only a couple episodes away. I think we're like 3 episodes left. So I'm interested to see how this thing is going to end up tying together. It's a lot going on, but we are going to see. And as always, if you are watching the show, please leave your comments, your thoughts below. As always, thank you for tuning in to Lawrence Report.